You may not realize it, but your experiences carry a sacred weight. The stories you've lived, the tears you've shed, and the victories you've quietly won, these are not just memories, they are lanterns. And someone younger is walking through their own darkness looking for light. Your wisdom is not accidental, it is assigned. It is God's way of making sure the next generation does not walk blind. This stage of life is not punishment, it's purification. You are being gently pulled away from noise so you can walk closely with Allah in the most peaceful way. He slows you down not because He's finished with you, but because He wants you to be full before He moves you again. In a world where everything moves fast, we often feel behind, especially when others seem to have figured life out earlier. But Allah is never in a hurry. His plan for your life is not measured by the world's. The world often defines success in numbers, salary, followers, achievements, but none of these bring lasting peace. As you grow older, your definition of success shifts. It's no longer about being seen, it's about being still. It's no longer about applause, it's about inner calm. And in this silence, you realize true success is peace, the kind only Allah can place in your heart. Slowing down isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom. Resting isn't wasting time, it's returning to God. At this age, every moment becomes more precious, every prayer more sincere, and every word more weighty. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are loved by the one who writes your story with mercy. Let your remaining days be the most peaceful, purposeful, and prayerful yet. Walk need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Let your wisdom flow like light, not to blind, but to guide. Allah has entrusted you with a legacy only you can carry. Pass it on, not to be remembered, but so someone else can remember God through you. Maturity. And if you found that calm in your heart, then congratulations, you are already successful in the eyes of the heavens. One of the greatest lies we believe as we age is that it's too late to change, too late to grow, too late to matter. But with Allah, it's never too late. He doesn't measure you by your years, He measures you by your return. One sincere astaghfirullah wipes decades. One real prayer can change your entire destiny. You are never too old for heart, so breathe, take the nap, sit in dhikr, cry softly, do nothing loudly, and know that in these pauses you are being held by the one who never sleeps and never stops loving you. Life in your later years is not meant to be rushed, it's meant to be savored. When you walk slower, your eyes begin to catch beauty that youth often missed in a hurry. You begin to notice the sunlight on leaves, the sincerity in. Don't look back with regret. Look forward with hope. Start small. One prayer, one verse, one heartfelt Ya Allah. It's not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming present. And in this moment, if you turn toward Him truly, then know that this is not the end of your story, it's the most beautiful chapter yet to come. As we grow older, the noise of the world starts to fade, not because we've lost our voice, but because God wants us to hear His more clearly. There's something sacred about the silence that comes with age. It is in that stillness that the soul begins to understand what really matters. It's not the absence of meaning, it's the gateway to deeper meaning. When you stop running from the noise, you start arriving at the truth, Allah's perfect season. Rest in the truth that He is never late, and neither are you. In a world that glorifies hustle and constant movement, resting feels like you're doing something wrong. But in Islam, rest is not laziness, it's a form of ibadah when done with intention. The Prophet PBUH himself took moments of rest between his mission. Why? Because your soul needs space to return to its source. When your heart is still, your worship becomes sincere. You may have spent years speaking, striving, proving, and yet now you find peace not in more effort, but in more presence. That silence is not loneliness. It's an invitation from Allah to finally sit with Him, undistracted, uninterrupted. It is where your soul stops pretending and starts returning to who it was always meant to be. Many fear being alone in their later years, but you are never alone when You're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to sit by the window, drink tea slowly, and say, Ya Allah, I'm tired today. That's not weakness, that's connection. Some of your most powerful du'as will come not from movement, but from stillness. When you finally stop running, your spirit finally feels heard. The older you grow, the more you understand that not all progress is loud. Your bones are tired, but your tongue still calls upon Allah. That's worship of the highest form. The angels record not just what you say, but what you mean. And the elderly mean every word. Some feel their strength has faded, but your spiritual strength has multiplied. The moments you whisper prayers in solitude or cry in sujood when no one sees, those are your quiet victories. Those are the prayers that shake the winds. Feel like messages. The tears in sujood are not just from pain, they're from a deep connection you hadn't noticed before. When the body slows, the soul leans in. Our fast-paced lives often drown out what really matters. But with age and reflection, you begin to crave something deeper than productivity. You begin to crave presence, the kind that only comes when you're no longer distracted. And that presence reveals the sweetness, the closeness of Allah. When you speak, even if it's only a sentence or two, it carries more than just words. It carries decades of learning. It carries the echo of prayers that worked and mistakes that taught. That young man struggling to stay on the path. That young woman doubting her worth. Your advice, your story could be the rope Allah uses to pull them back. You're not just older, you're a guide. In a world flooded with opinions, true wisdom is rare, and your silence, There comes a moment in life when slowing down isn't a choice, it's a gift. And in that stillness, something profound happens. Your spiritual ears begin to open. You hear not the world's expectations, but the voice of your Lord. When you're not rushing, you recognize His signs. He was speaking before, but now you're listening. When you no longer fill every moment with noise, you become available to divine whispers. The verses you once read in passing now stop you. The timing, your ability to speak with care, that's gold. You don't need a platform to make an impact. Sometimes the greatest lessons are whispered in kitchens, shared on walks, or written in letters. Your role now isn't just to live, it's to light the way for those coming after. Maybe you feel like your time to change the world has passed, but Allah has placed you exactly where someone needs your insight. Even if you think they're not listening, they are watching. They notice your... There is something special about the dua that comes from a heart that has been through storms. The elderly have lived enough to know the weight of loss and the value of gratitude. When they raise their hands in supplication, it is not just words, it is decades of sincerity, experience, and hope carried through every syllable. In Islam, the dua of the oppressed, the traveler, and the parent holds tremendous power, but so too does the dua of the aged, because when some people think they've lost their passion or purpose as they age, but often they haven't lost anything. They've just outgrown the chaos. What once thrilled you no longer defines you. You now crave peace, meaning, stillness, and those things don't come fast. They come in quiet rooms, long sujoods, patient conversations with your Lord. When your body slows, it teaches your mind to listen. You begin to hear your soul whisper things you never knew you needed. Maybe now you finally feel your prayers. Maybe now you truly mean astaghfirullah when you say it. Maybe now your heart truly breaks, not from the world, but for the nearness of your Rabb. Don't be ashamed of moving slower. It's in that rhythm that your soul begins to dance with the unseen. That's when the Quran starts to speak deeper, when dhikr feels like oxygen, and when you finally stop rushing toward a life and start. Some of the most radiant lights burn steadily, not brightly. You no longer need the spotlight because your heart is lit by something eternal. It's okay if the world forgets you as long as you are remembered in the heavens. Your evolution is not loud, but it's profound. As your body slows, your soul becomes more present. You cry more during prayers. You hear Allah's name and it moves you. You feel more for others. This is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that your heart is survived, and now I see. You begin to hear God in your past, in your trials, and in the present. His voice was always there. The silence just made it clear. The slower you move, the clearer the message. You don't need a loud miracle to feel Him. You just need quiet faith. Walk slowly, breathe deeply, recite sincerely, and you will see Allah doesn't always shout. Sometimes He just waits for you to slow down so you can finally hear what He's been saying all along. Slowing down makes space for gratitude, for remembering the small blessings, the taste of water, the warmth of the sun, the sound of Quran in a quiet room. These were always there, but now your soul is awake enough to notice. Gratitude is the language of still hearts, and God speaks fluently in it. In the stillness, regrets begin to soften, wounds begin to heal. You no longer blame yourself for what could have been. Instead, you say, Alhamdulillah. Someone's voice, the quiet mercy in your breath. This slowness is not a limitation, it's permission. Permission to feel what you never had time to feel before. In youth, we move fast because we think time is running out. In maturity, we slow down because we realize it's the moment that truly matters. When your pace drops, your awareness rises. You begin to feel Allah's presence, not just in big events, but in small miracles. The way your body heals, the way... Sometimes staying still is how you grow roots. Sometimes laying in your bed and remembering Allah is more healing than achieving something on your to-do list. You don't need to be doing to be growing. Rest is how your heart breathes. Look at nature. Even the moon takes nights to be full. Trees don't blossom every season. Why then do you think you must constantly perform? Even your body is reminding you to pause. That's mercy, not failure. Allah, start protecting your time, your thoughts, your worship. You stop needing to prove yourself because your heart already feels accepted by the one who matters most. Success is when you wake up and thank Allah without needing a reason. It's when you go to sleep knowing you didn't harm anyone. It's when you can cry in prayer and feel safe doing so. These are not small wins, they're eternal ones. They make your soul lighter. They connect you to the hereafter. They remind you. Some people chase success all their lives, yet die exhausted and hollow. But when you prioritize peace over pressure, your soul begins to breathe. You can walk through storms calmly because your heart is anchored, not in ego, not in status, but in sujood, in trust, in surrender. That's success that no one can take from you. There's a quiet power in choosing what doesn't steal your peace, saying no to toxic conversations, saying yes to a quiet evening of Quran recitation. You seasoned, strengthened. So when your time came, you'd be ready for it. Allah does not waste any step you took. Every detour had direction. Every pause was purpose. Even the moments you thought were lost were actually lessons. The broken roads you cried on are the same roads that taught you how to kneel. Nothing was in vain. Nothing was random. What broke you then is what built your closeness to Allah now. Stop measuring your life by what you haven't done. Measure it by what you've survived. You didn't come late, you came whole. Your soul knows what it needed, and Allah knew when to bring it all together. You have not missed your moment, you are in it. Today, instead of rushing forward or regretting the past, pause. Say Alhamdulillah for where you are. Your soul is blooming right on time. Retreat to a cave for solitude, not because He was weak, but because Allah speaks clearest when the world is quiet. When you walk slower, you notice more. When you speak less, you hear more. When you stop rushing, you finally arrive to the present, to your own heart, and most importantly, to your Lord. You were never behind, you were always on your way, just at a divine pace. Peace enters your heart during Fajr, the way a single verse from the Quran suddenly feels like it was written for you. Slowness allows your heart to soften, to weep without shame, to laugh without pressure, to forgive with depth. When you're no longer sprinting, your emotions catch up to you. You realize that the pain you once buried is finally being seen, and that's healing. That's divine timing. Your slow steps are sacred steps toward clarity. Heavens, you're not forgotten, you're favored. Many elders think I'm too old to ask. But Allah never closes His doors. In fact, he honors the hearts that still call on him despite a lifetime of tests. Your gray hair is not a reason for silence. It is a badge of honor in dua. It's the proof that you've endured and still believe. You don't need long, fancy duas. A single sincere, Ya Allah, guide my children. Heavens, you're not forgotten, you're favored. Many elders think I'm too old to ask, but Allah never closes his doors. In fact, he honors the hearts that still call on him despite a lifetime of tests. Your gray hair is not a reason for silence. It is a badge of honor in dua. It's the proof that you've endured and still believe. You don't need long, fancy duas. A single sincere, Ya Allah, guide my children, from your lips can be more powerful than 1,000 speeches. Your prayer is your legacy. Your supplication is your inheritance. Your voice in this age echoes longer in the heavens. Never think your prayers don't matter now. They matter more than ever. Your dua is a lighthouse not only for your own soul, but for your family, your community, your lineage. Keep praying because the heavens are wide open and your voice is beloved in them. Created you with limits so you would return to him with humility. Many elders feel guilty for not being as productive as they once were. But what if your quiet presence in the home, your calm wisdom, your sincere duas are more powerful than anything loud? You're not less useful when you slow down. You're more spiritually tuned in. Rest is not the opposite of worship. It is worship when done with the right, because your pain, your scars, your journey all become tools of empathy, of connection, of sincere submission. When you come back to Allah with that kind of heart, you bring more than worship. You bring truth, vulnerability, and real faith. The Prophet TBUA taught us that Allah stretches out his hand every night for those who wish to return. If you woke up today, it means you still have purpose. You still have time. That's not by accident. That's divine mercy. The one who are in the remembrance of your Rab. The quiet is his mercy, his way of saying, now let's talk without the rush. Every heartbeat is his reminder that he still listens, still watches, still cares, and he always has. Some of the greatest revelations come not from the loudest sermons, but from the deepest silences. You don't need to fight anymore. You've fought enough. Now your victory is in your surrender. The Prophet created you, knows your pace. He just wants your direction. Sometimes you'll feel discouraged by all the time you wasted, but Allah doesn't waste anything. Even your detours had purpose. They softened you, humbled you, brought you to this moment. He is the master of restoring what was lost, not by rewinding time, but by making your now more meaningful than your then. Your energy is quieter, but more healing. This is evolution. The soul transitioning from noise to depth, from striving to surrender. You are not being emptied, you are being deepened. People around you may misunderstand your quietness, but Allah knows. He sees that you now pause more before you speak. You reflect more, you pray deeper. That's not decline, that's elevation. While others still seek their way, you are walking with your Lord more intimately. You are living well. In this age, you no longer chase what breaks you, you protect what builds you. Your home becomes your sanctuary, your salah becomes your safe space, your relationships become fewer but deeper, and with every layer you strip away, what remains is peace. What remains is you as you were meant to be. Don't let the world's version of success pressure you. You're not behind, you're ahead in a way they cannot see, because peace is a fruit of spiritual calendar. You are not defined by deadlines, you are designed by divine wisdom. Whether you are 30, 40, or 60, your spiritual timing is perfect. You are arriving now at the stage of awareness, of understanding, of divine alignment. Your journey is sacred and unique. Some climb fast and fall quickly. You're being built to last. Sometimes the delay was protection. You didn't fail, you were being shaped. Patience. Your resilience, your gentleness, that is dua in motion, that is wisdom walking. You don't need to force advice. Sometimes your presence is enough. your ability to forgive, your consistency in prayer, your calm in trials, that teaches louder than speeches. Your legacy isn't what you leave behind, it's what you plant in others while you're still here. Let them eat from the fruits of your pain and your healing. You are a walking library of divine lessons. You don't becoming closer to its original form, soft, aware, surrendered. Don't fear this stage, embrace it. You're not being left behind. You're being brought forward spiritually. You're not shrinking. You're being refined. You're not losing yourself. You're finally coming home, evolving into the person Allah always intended you to become. A new beginning with your Lord. The world may have closed its doors, but Allah's door stays open. He doesn't ask what took you so long. He says, come to me. Even if it's after a lifetime of distractions, regrets, or sins, you can start over today. You can turn the page with just one intention. Allah loves beginnings, no matter how late they arrive in the eyes of the world. Your past doesn't disqualify you. In fact, it may qualify you even more. Living it fully, one divine breath at a time. The world often sees aging as decline, but spiritually, it is elevation. You're not fading, you're becoming more refined, more focused, more inwardly rich. While others chase external validation, your soul now seeks divine closeness. This isn't the end of your brightness, it's the deepening of your glow. You may not move as quickly, but your presence carries more weight. Your words are fewer but more powerful.